Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I hope you're continuing to learn and adapt to a life with great nutrition that you can keep living without regret. Always the goal, not winning the contest, not the 12 weeks, but a lifetime of success, a lifetime of change. And every small step you take will make a difference in the long term. There's a saying, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. But it's not just that one step, because you still have to take another, and then another. And you have to do that all the time, every day, one small step, repeat. So I want you to make a list of one thing a week you can do to improve your eating over the next 6 weeks. So you will have 6 different small things that you can change. Every small thing you do each week is going to make a difference, but you have to keep it going after each week. So don't make any huge changes because that's going to be tougher to do. If you're really struggling, remember there is no rush. You can make a change for 1 or 2 days over the week or aim for the whole week in one shot. It's up to you. But when you make the changes, try to stick with them as much as you can. Very small changes, very small adjustments, and try to keep that up over time. That's that one small step forward, but there has to be another small step forward. That journey of 1,000 miles isn't one step. It's step after step after step, day after day after day. It doesn't end in 12 weeks. It's a lifetime thing. If you want your joints to have an easier time, if you want your body to be fitter as you get older, if you want to be able to do all the things that you want to be able to do, you have to eat right for life. You have to exercise regularly. And that's another consideration for the nutrition contest, is how many days a week you're exercising. So for some people that are struggling outside of the nutrition component, think about what you're actually eating. Or sorry, think about, well, that too. But think about how much you're actually exercising. So, if you're exercising, you're only actually making it out once a week, then it's going to be tough to build muscle and to make changes. Or at least a little bit tougher. Yes, a lot of it's in the diet, but the more muscle you build, the more exercise you get, the better you feel. The better you feel, the more accomplished you feel, the easier it is to ride those good feelings. So yes, you might be able to change only your diet and lose some weight, but can you keep that up? Will you stay inspired and motivated in the long term? It's hard to say. So exercise more, stick with the group, because when you finish those workouts and you feel really good at the end of them, that's going to make a big difference for you. I have a few examples here, some small steps you can take. So if you're having some trouble coming up with ideas for things to change, here are some ideas. So number 1, eat vegetables for your afternoon snack. So every afternoon you say, okay, in the afternoon for one snack I'm only going to eat vegetables. You can pair those vegetables at first with a bit of salad dressing or hummus for flavor, maybe a tablespoon or 2. And really you can do that forever. I mean, there's no harm in salad dressing or hummus if it's high fat, depending where it comes from, the source of the ingredients. 2, don't eat anything but vegetables 3 hours before going to sleep. So if you get home late or later in the evening, depending on your schedule, if you're working out in the evening, it's a bit tougher because you want to get your protein in. But 3 hours before you go to sleep, if you can, that might be a small goal for you, is to only eat vegetables. So rather than going to crackers or popcorn or any other kind of poor choice foods, go for vegetables. Because vegetables will help you make you feel full, will probably hit that little craving, and aren't going to cost you a lot of calories. Your body's just going to plow through them. 3, eat a piece of fruit in the morning as your morning snack. So depending on what your morning snack is, or if you don't have a morning snack, you probably should, to keep your energy levels up and to keep your body working. One large meal a day is a far worse choice than a bunch of small meals and snacks throughout the day. Better to keep your body processing food constantly throughout the day than it is to ask it to process a whole lot of stuff at once. Cut out a habit. So that one of your small goals, number 4, cut out a habit. So maybe you, a piece of chocolate that you like to eat, muffin, croissant, anything like that, anything that isn't helping you, maybe cut it out. And remember, you don't have to cut it out forever. You don't have to cut it out completely. Maybe you cut it out 3 times a week or 4 times a week. Maybe you only allow yourself to have it on the weekends. 5, eat only one meal in a day that involves bread. So that includes pizza, baked goods, and whatever. Cutting out bread or limiting your actual bread can help make a difference in your weight loss too. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the reason why we have this video going here is FitnessPal, because I know I had a few people ask about FitnessPal and how do you use it, and some people didn't like it because they didn't know how to use it or where the recipes were. So I just have it pulled up here. This is a FitnessPal. This is the computer version, obviously, because I'm recording via computer. But there is an app on the phone, and the app on the phone is just as easy. So this is just a dummy account that I created, and I'm just going to go through some kind of the creation process that you can follow along so you know how to set it up for yourself. So this is the home screen that we're watching right here. So if we click on goals, you can see carbohydrates, fat, and protein. If we edit these, I can change these numbers. So what I recommended last week was 40, 40, 20, and I can save these changes. So now I know at the end of the day I can see where my calories should be coming from, how many grams of each type that I want in a day. Obviously you have to pay, these are locked, the other places are locked because you have to pay for a premium account in order to open them up. So check-in is just today's weight. So if you decide to put your weight in regularly, you can. You don't have to. Profile is where all your information is. I just left the information as it was. Not really an important place to be. Go back here. Settings. So if you go settings and diary settings, this is where you can change the nutrition that you track as your primary, so you can change any of this stuff if you want to know how much different things you're taking. Here under the meal names, I like to take these out here or move lunch down here and go with snack, so it reminds me to have a snack. So this is how I set up my day: breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner, snack. Then save changes. There's a lot of other stuff you can check out to change if you want to. You can change units if you want it to be to see different display on different things like kilometers versus miles, calories, kilojoules. So you can change pounds to kilograms. I think most of the system is set up for the Canadian system, but if you like a different system or you understand it better, then by all means switch over to that system. So this is the basic stuff. Sorry, go back to settings here. So if you go to update diet and fitness profile, this is where everything else is that really matters to your daily calorie intake. So your starting weight, I just put 180 pounds on today because I just created it. Current weight, still 180 pounds because I haven't done anything. Height and goal weight. So how much weight do I want to lose? That's not realistic. I just threw that in there. So that tells me that I want to lose 20 pounds and my date of birth here. When you first set up your account, it'll also ask you how long you want it to take to lose weight. That'll be up to you. Don't rush it though. Your normal lifestyle. Generally, I set this for sedentary, and then I use my Fitbit tracker for steps to up my calories. So I'm basically saying I don't do absolutely nothing, and then my Fitbit will say, okay, well today you did all this work, so here's 3,000 extra calories, and that's where I get my extra calories from, or 1,000 extra calories, whatever it might be. It's easier to do this and then track your fitness or punch in your fitness than it is to go very active, and then day to day you don't know what you're going to do. Because some days my Fitbit will give me loads of extra calories, and some days it won't give me very much because I don't do as much activity. So rather than saying I'm very active every day, I like saying I'm sedentary and then using my Fitbit tracker or entering exercise throughout throughout the day. How many days a week do you plan on working out? Maybe I plan to work out 3 times a week for 60 minutes. Maybe more. And my goal, I would say half a pound a week for most people is a lot. You could go as much as a pound a week. When you get above that, I'm not a big fan of losing that much weight in a week, unless you actually have a lot of weight to lose. And then I update my profile. So that's the basic setting. So it says I can take 2,000 calories a day, and this is where the breakdown is going to come from. So this is just a very, very basic setup, and you can go through that and do that yourself. Now when I do food, here's all my meals. So I can do this on the computer, and it's just as easy to do it over the phone. So if I want to add food, add breakfast foods. So search by database. So on your phone you'll have, there'll be a little bar in the corner here. If you press that, it'll bring up your camera, and you can actually scan the UPC code on food, and then you get the actual brand come up. But let's just say I had bread from Dempster's, and I click search, and it'll bring up the most common bread that Dempster makes, and then I can just click on it. Say 2 slices of whole wheat. So 2 slices a serving. If I had 2 slices, I'd do 1 full serving, or if I only had 1 slice, I'd do half a serving. Had it for breakfast, add to diary. And now it's in my diary. And eventually on the phone you can also swipe. It'll say, did you eat the same breakfast as yesterday? You swipe across, it brings up the same breakfast. So if you're a fan of eating the same breakfast every day for a couple weeks and then changing it up, you can do that, and you'll just swipe across and it'll automatically bring it up the next day. Let's see if it does it here. I'm not really sure on the computer. No, it doesn't. Okay, so that's just a food diary. You can add food to anything, any food, any snacks. So this is recent, although this is it's a fake account, so it doesn't have anything. But under recent, it would show anything that you've recently eaten. Frequent would be something I'm just doing all the time. So if I, drink a lot of milk, it'll come up under frequent. My foods, if I've created anything myself. Meals, so I can add meals. Haven't done that yet. Oop. And then you can add your own recipes. So we'll go back to the food diet. Good, this is the database you can go through. My foods, so this is where you can add foods that you want to add to FitnessPal if there's something that you know of that you want to add yourself. Your meals. Let's say I want to add in, let's say I like to have chicken and rice as a meal. There's nothing there. Perfect. Okay, so I have, obviously you can see it right here. Click on a meal or view to delete. So I have no meals on my account, and my food diary doesn't have too many meals because I haven't actually added anything. Interesting. I've never actually used my meals. Recipes I have, though. So recipe, you can grab somebody's recipe from like all recipes if you like to use that, or you can go add recipe manually, and you can name it, and then you enter or paste your ingredients. And I find this a little bit easier actually on the phone, strangely enough, because this is the first time I'm looking at it on the computer, because I don't often use my computer. But recipe name, let's say chicken dinner, enter ingredient, roasted chicken. Oh, here we go. Roasted chicken, 1 serving. Add ingredient. So this is where I would start adding in, my ingredients here. Yeah, I'm learning with you guys right now. Maybe chicken breast would be easier to add. Anyway, so you just go down the list and you look for the chicken. If you can't scan it, chicken breast maybe from PC, I guess the company that makes PC chicken breast. There we go. Chicken breast from PC, 100 grams. You could weigh this if you wanted to, or go for the average, what your average chicken breast is. And you just keep adding ingredients, and then you save recipe. And then when you go to your food, you'll see the recipe will pop up, and you can, if you make the same meal again, you click on that on the recipe for the meal, and you're good to go. So settings, we've been here already. So that's that's kind of the gist of the food portion. It's actually quite simple. Oh, this is a neat little thing that's not on the phone, is remember meal. So quick tools, remember meal. So you can actually ask it to remember your meal and then plug it in again. Copy yesterday, copy from date. So if you eat the same or you ate the same a different day, you can go back. So that's pretty neat little thing. If you want to add water, you can also add cups of water here. So how many cups of water you've had throughout the day, so you can actually track your water consumption. Over time, that's a really good tool because you can find out, if one day you had 3 glasses of water and you were really heavy or really light the next day and you had lots of sodium, you'll know lots of sodium in Dempster's bread apparently. Oh no, that's how many I'm allowed in a day. So for exercises, you can add in cardiovascular or strength training. Strength training just lets you add in the actual exercise. It doesn't consider calories burned. So if you wanted to track your actual workout, you could. I don't do that because it's just too much work and there's no reason for it. So I will add exercise. Maybe I did high intensity interval training, which is kind of our circuit blast class. Didn't come up. Okay, so circuit will. So circuit training, how long you did it, and then it makes assumptions based on your weight and whatever for how many calories you probably burned. If you have a heart rate Garmin, then it'll give you a slightly more accurate number, and otherwise you're just guessing regardless. Because the Garmin without a heart rate monitor is making the same generalizations with your weight as this is. So let's see if kettlebell pops up. No results found. So this isn't a overly helpful thing. That's why I use my Fitbit tracker with my heart rate monitor to track that. But really, if you add in, you could add in circuit for anything because kettlebell is a lot like circuit, and you can do the same thing. I did a 40 minutes of kettlebell training. So I burned 435 calories. And then it pops up. And again, this is better on the phone because on the phone it actually gives you a few more options. You can actually see the database pop up. Oh, here's the database. So under exercise database, coincidentally enough, here's the list of things you can do. So calisthenics would be some of the exercises that we do. That's good to know. So if you're doing some circuit blast classes, kind of depending on how it's done. Here's some light, moderate, vigorous effort calisthenics, which is the same. Circuit training here. So there's all kinds of. If you scan this list on your own, you'll see just regular gym stuff. Hiking. So you can add, there's a lot of exercises here that will give you the calorie expenditure. I would put most of what we do in the course under calisthenics or circuit training. Obviously there's running, although you may not know what speed you were running at. If you know the average speed you were running at roughly, you could kind of gauge that for calories burned too, or just go generally running. And there's all other kinds you can do with reports and whatnot that you can use to generate information. So that feedback's really important, which is why I wanted people to look at tracking, especially if you're having a difficult time losing weight, to look at the tracking, because it will help you give you feedback. So you'll know something's going right, you'll know something's going wrong, and it also kind of holds you accountable. So you feel like if you decide to eat this, you got to enter on your phone. Oh, I don't really feel like entering that because then it's going to cost me, and then I just don't bother eating it. So this is all combined with everything that we've done so far and everything that hopefully you've listened to or learned so far on mindset as well. Because if you consider the mindset of, if you're really down and you're depressed and that's the reason you eat, then Fitness Pal isn't really going to save you. Because eventually that depression will come back if you're prone to it. So you have to fix the mental side of things, the reasons why you overeat or you make the wrong choices when you shouldn't. And those are the things you really have to go after, because that'll be the long-term success. It's just like inspiration from group training can make a big difference in your nutrition. Not because it's a miracle calorie burner, but because you leave feeling good, you make friends, and all these positive things. The more times you work out in that environment, the better you feel, the less, and that all goes back to help you lose weight and help you keep it off. Because the other thing to consider is that this isn't a part-time thing. Fitness is forever. You want to keep it up forever so that you can keep it up forever. You don't just go up to 3 times a week for a month because you want to get into a bikini. You should be going up 3-4 times a month or week, maybe even more, because you want to be fit as you can be, because of that health continuum that we talked about in the last recording. All right, so I hope that helped you out a little bit with the database. I know I was kind of learning it on the fly with you, so a little bit of confusion as to where stuff is, but hopefully that helps a little bit so you can see at least where the recipes come from, how to enter your food. It's really quick and easy on the phone, how to set your goals and your weight goals so that it helps calculate for that, and all those little things. So I like my Fitness Pal. You can use any app that you want to. So remember, going back to the beginning, your homework for today or for this week is to have start working on the small steps. So 6 small steps over the next 6 weeks. You can send it to me to be a little bit accountable if you want to, or keep it to yourself. 6 small things you can do, 1 a week for the next 6 weeks, trying to compound them. So if you make 1 small change this week, you can add that small change into another small change next week. And it could be little things. One day, it doesn't have to be every day. You don't have to fix everything all at once. You can make these small changes that you want, that you can manage for life, so that it lasts forever. So that you realize, what does it feel like if I'm not eating these things at all? Because generally, when you eat really well, you start to feel even better. And when you start to eat badly, you start to feel the downs and the ups and all the things going on in your brain and in your body. All right, thanks a lot.